All right, everyone. So WWE 2K25 is going to be on the Switch too, which is pretty cool. I don't know a ton about, is it going to like what type of game is it going to be? Is it going to how close is it going to be to the PC and Xbox and PlayStation version? I'm not entirely sure, but this is certainly going to be a really cool way to play the game. You know, so we'll have to wait and see a lot of those things. I guess the last time it was on there was 2018, that version of it. So that would be pretty cool. Look, I just can't wait to try it out on this. We will be trying it out on the Switch 2 when the Switch 2 comes out. We'll buy a copy of it just to let you guys know how good it is. But I think that's cool taking the version of WWE 2K25 on the road with you, right? Or on a handheld. I can't think of a better way to play it. I remember when they had the PSP, you could get SmackDown versus Raw 2008 and other ones, and I was playing it on that. It was a really, really, really cool way to play. It was really a good way to play. So we'll let you know how it goes. We'll give you updates on the Switch 2. Hopefully it's a version of the game that is really good and not a version that's really, dumbed down in a sense. I hope it's as close to the version we get on the PC and on the Xbox and PlayStation as possible, but we'll give you those updates as we get them. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Gunther had a three-word response to his beatdown of Jay and Jimmy Uso saying, "Welcome to hell." I just want to point out how great WWE has done building this storyline. I mean, they have so many other great storylines going on. You could figure, maybe this one falls through the cracks. No, no, no. They're not just resting on the yeet laurels of Jey Uso here, right? They're not just saying, well, yeet's over, so fine, we'll let it happen. And they're finally giving Gunther the title reign he deserves. Gunther is a phenomenal talent. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He's good in the ring and he's good on the mic. But I don't think they've done a really great job with him up until this point. This is the Gunther we want to see. This is a Gunther that's a badass. This is a Gunther who is evil, to the sense of he doesn't care about anyone but himself and he's vicious. But that's who we want to see Gunther as. We don't want to see Gunther like he was in Damian Priest when Damian Priest is actually beating him up and he's kind of not confident in himself. It's like, what Gunther is that? That's not the one we want. I mean, think about what he did. He zip tied Jey Uso to the ring ropes and then beat the crap out of his brother right in front of him. He's bleeding. I mean, what a moment that was for the WWE universe to see. It's like, oh my God, like this is Gunther. Or when he attacked Jey Uso when he was yeeting on the announce table. That was really what set all of this off. This is the Gunther we want to see. So regardless of what happens at WrestleMania, this is the Gunther that I want to see remain. It kind of reminds me in a way of, I mean, it's not really similar characters, but Randy Orton in his prime, where Randy Orton was just like a psycho. I mean, he still, I guess, is, on screen, but he was really, really a psycho. And every time he'd come out, you'd be like, this guy could do legitimately anything. We're getting a little bit that from Gunther, someone who just wins at all costs, someone that doesn't really give a damn. And I like it. So put in the comment section below what you think, and we will see you next time. All right, everyone. So Eric Bischoff called this superstar the best talents of our era. He said this on his podcast. I think Randy Orton is one of the best talents of our era overall. He may not have made the most money and probably came damn close. Consistency really matters after 20 years of being on top, but as far as being an overall performer, I love his promos. Sometimes he doesn't have the greatest material to work with, but when he does, there's nobody more believable. His entire body is a freaking entertainment weapon. He's built like he came out of some kind of AI central casting application. He is so fluid in the ring that makes it look so easy, more than anybody else. So one of the things I love so much about wrestling is that, and it's unlike I think anything else, right? Because someone like Randy Orton, if you're someone who's new to watching wrestling, you won't even understand the full Randy Orton experience. Go back to when he first started out, right? He was this young champion, then he becomes the legend killer. Um, you know, just then it's like he's just this crazy guy who's just, punting people in the face. Like there are so many different evolutions of Randy Orton that this newest evolution is great, but when you put them all together, you really see his fantastic body of work that he has put together. So we'll see, what else WWE has in store for him. But I hope, much like they're doing the farewell tour for John Cena, Who knows how long Randy will still be wrestling. Hopefully, we still got, a good amount of time with him wrestling. But let's make this last, run for him, right? This last stretch, whether it's 5 years, 2 years, however long it is that he's still in the wrestling business, let's make that the best of his career because I think they can. And I want to see them go back to that Randy Orton character that we remember when he was just a crazy person. I would love to see that again. And I 100% agree with Eric Bischoff in the sense he really is one of the great talents. So thank you all for watching. All right, everyone. So we now know why Nia Jax has not been on WWE television. This is from Sportskeeda's Backstage Pass Q&A. Russell Vogt reported this. Nia Jax has been, I want to phrase this properly, not cleared. That's the best way I could put it. She was due to be cleared, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Don't know if that's happened. Obviously, she hasn't been on TV. Don't know if it was due to an injury or whatnot. I do know internally that she's not been cleared for action, which is why she hasn't been on TV. I don't know what caused her to be on the inactive list. Don't want to speculate. Hate to do that. So I just know she's been inactive with the anticipation of coming back. I believe it was back on March 22nd. I don't know why she's not been cleared. So I didn't even really think about this, that Nia Jax hasn't been on TV. And I think she's a really good character. Her and Candice LeRae certainly, I think, are a really, really, really good duo now because it's just a perfect heel duo. And maybe I don't, like I said, they don't know if it's injury or what it is, but I definitely think WWE might be looking at this from the standpoint of, hey, we just got to let this, right now we have all of our kind of rivalries and they're going strong. Nia Jax, we don't necessarily need her in any of these big rivalries. We could save it for, either a little closer to WrestleMania or something bigger after WrestleMania. I think this is one of the beauties of the current wrestling, era is that this isn't the old days where every wrestler had to be on every show all the time. Because you have so much talent right now, you could do with as talented as Nia Jax is, she's in the main event often on the woman's side. You could give her a little bit of time off to fully recover from an injury or whatever it is, right? And I think that's one of the better things about the current era of wrestling. So we'll see what happens when she does return. I hope they have big plans for her because I do think she's one of the better heels on the women's side. It's just about making sure that you pitch her the right storylines. And her and Candice, I think that was, a phenomenal way to have, her and Tiffany break off and all of that. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. So Bret Hart reacted to his match with Steve Austin being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Here's what he said. I found out a few months ago that it was going to happen, but you never know. It's never going to happen until it happens. I just found out a few days that the announcement came out that verified that it was going to happen for me. It's a big honor. I'm really quite proud of that match and the work that I had with Steve Austin. If you ask me in truth if I thought there was a better match somewhere, I don't think there has been a better match. It was magic. What we did that night when they told me they were going to induct that match, I was like, well, they should. It was maybe the best match ever. And then obviously we know that he's going to be at the ceremony along with Steve Austin. So I think this is such a cool moment that they're doing this. I go back and forth on whenever something new like this is happening. You think about the upsides and the downsides. I hope this is something that continues to get these all-time greats to come back to the ceremony, even when they've already been inducted into the Hall of Fame. The only thing I don't know is is there going to be another Austin match inducted next year and he's back again? I think you're going to have to be able to really change it up a little bit to make it so that it really, really matters. But I love everything Bret Hart said. His response was a little bit different than Austin's. Bret Hart clearly thinks this is one of the all-time great matches. And Steve Austin did too, but he wasn't quite as, like Bret Hart's just like, yeah, about damn time you inducted this match or this match got its credit. But this really is the match that kind of solidified in a lot of people's mind. This was the beginning of what Austin would become. You obviously have the Austin 316 moment as another moment like that, but this one is really viewed as that big, big moment. So if you're going to start this with something, especially when we're talking about two people that are still alive, I think this is a great match to put in there. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone. We're reading here from TJRWrestling.net. Netflix has been caught piping in fake This Is Awesome chants onto WWE shows, but the streaming giant might have a good reason for it. Fake crowd noise is nothing new in WWE and has been used for years, but fake chants that never happened might be stretching things too far. That is the approach Netflix has taken, however, with WrestleMania 40, which is now available to watch via the streaming giant during the six-pack ladder match for both the WWE and World Tag Team Championships. Tommaso Ciampa drops Tyler Bate with a huge air raid crash. The fans in attendance greeted the move with "Holy shit" chants, but that's not what you'll hear if you watch on Netflix. Instead, the fan chant that can be heard is "This is awesome." Netflix is taking a hard line with WWE content to ensure it remains family friendly and suitable for children. The streaming giant has cut audio during fan chants on live shows, but that don't suit this need. Solo Sequoia's recent accidental F bomb was also cut from repeats of SmackDown. Whether or not more fake fan chants will be used to cover up curse words or just to enhance matches in the future remains to be seen, but it certainly seems to be a tactic Netflix is happy to use. I I don't even know in a way what to say about, this story. Number 1, I don't know how deep this runs. Literally, it seems like This Is Awesome chants are happening, like, every other week, so do we know if those are actually taking place or if these are just being piped in from Netflix or what's going on? I have no clue. But this is just another, to me, disappointing sign of this whole deal they made with Netflix. The whole point of being on Netflix was to be able to be more free. That was the entirety of kind of what everybody was excited for. And if you go back and watch our videos, we said I don't really care about the edgy aspect, meaning I don't think that being edgy to be edgy is a good idea for WWE. I like the idea of WWE saying we're going to try to appeal to this really broad audience. So we don't want to say, no, kids can't watch it. And we also don't want to say this is so cartoonish that only kids are going to watch it. So you could do it like they're doing now, kind of appealing to everyone without going, you know, crossing every line like they, would have in the Attitude Era, right? I think the Attitude Era was great for its time. And certainly you could say, oh, maybe we could be more real or more edgy here, but it doesn't have to be what we saw sometimes in the early 2000s of WWE just trying something edgy because they thought, oh, well, we're an edgy product, because it doesn't always actually end up being the best. With that being said, wh- what is Netflix like worried about with this? That's I don't understand. It's like, well, we want to make sure that this remains friendly. It's like, do you see what is on Netflix right now? I mean, you go around, you look, there's a ton of violent movies. There's a ton of stuff that, kids can't watch that is already on there. And I don't think parents are going to care all that much if there's a few swear words coming from the crowd. It just doesn't, in my opinion, make a whole lot of sense. And I thought this was one of the reasons that this Netflix deal would be so great. I thought going to Netflix, it creates a whole open environment for WWE. And it, like I said, it wasn't just so that we could hear more swears. I don't really care about that, but it was just that they don't have to, it doesn't have to be that phony in a sense, like the time constraints that WWE isn't going to be kept to this time constraint. And although it seems like they definitely can, navigate a little bit how long they go and they don't have to be quite as strict, Netflix still has a time on there. And now they're just going back and they're a match in WrestleMania 40 where you get holy shit chants and they're changing them to "This is awesome." It's like, what are we doing here? I don't know. Maybe I'm way off on this and I'm just overreacting. I just don't like that idea. I just really dislike that idea. I think if the fans are chanting something, whether it's for historical purposes or whatever, we should know what the fans are saying, right? We should understand what the fans are saying. So thank you all for watching and put in the comment section below what you think. We'll see you next time. All right, everyone, we're reading here from Ringside News. WWE rocked fans on March 28th by launching a new Hall of Fame wing called Immortal Moments, with the legendary WrestleMania 13 match between Steve Austin and Bret Hart as the very first induction. The 1997 Classic is still considered one of the greatest double turns in wrestling history, and now, nearly 3 decades later, it's finally getting its due. Austin was asked about the honor during a recent autograph signing with the American Icon Autographs, and true to form, the Texas Rattlesnake gave a straight up answer. Yes and no, he began. It was a hell of a match, and we knew it at the time. I think it was good that was in Chicago because Chicago was kind of a stronghold for me, but it would have worked anywhere with the fact it happened with Bret the Hitman Hart. The WWE Hall of Famer also hinted that there's more to the story than fans know. There's a couple behind the scenes story that I don't want to talk about, but it was a hell of a match, and it's cool for people to still remember it damn near 30 years later. Still, Austin made it clear that the fans are the reason the match lives on. Yeah, it means something to me because if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't be sitting here. So the fact that match is relevant and it's still going into the 2025 Hall of Fame for matches, and it's the first match to be inducted, cool. This is kind of an interesting comment from Stone Cold, because he's not necessarily like, yeah, this is by far my favorite match ever. This is by far the best thing I've ever done. Which I think this match seems to be. Now, whether it's true or not, you could put in the comment section below. But I whenever I watch a documentary or read up on kind of Austin's career, this is viewed as one of the pivotal moments. Obviously you have the Austin 316 thing at King of the Ring. That was a big moment, but this was also a major moment because it kind of built the character of toughness that Steve Austin would become, right? That was kind of a major, major deal. So, um, yeah, I thought it was certainly a good match to put in. Do I think this is the greatest match of all time, or most immortal match of all time? Probably not, but I think it makes a lot of sense to put this one in because you can make the argument this spawned what would become the greatest era in the history of wrestling, right? At its most kind of important time. Like when you're fighting against WCW and you're potentially going out of business, like I know it wasn't at this point, but it was soon to be. And, during 1997, this is when it's about to get rough for WWE. And well, I guess it had been rough, and now it's about to kind of take off in a way that it had never taken off before. So spawning that and the guy who kind of led the charge in beating WCW, certainly that deserves some credit. So put in the comment section below, what do you think? Should this have been in there? What did you think of Austin's comments on it? Put in the comment section below, and we'll see you next time. Right, everyone. So Charlotte Flair reacted to accusations she buried Tiffany Stratton before WrestleMania. We're reading here from Russell Talk, and they're citing an interview from the Daily Mail she had. She said this: "It's great that you said teach her a lesson. I did not look at it as a lesson. I looked at it as I am Charlotte Flair. Do you want me to be less than? This is what you wanted, right? This is who you want to be like. This is your idol. Okay." So 2019, Trish Stratus wanted to come back, and I kept thinking to myself, Trish Stratus wants to come back and wrestle me. Oh, I have to be as good as she thinks I am. Like, I can't be less than. Charlotte Flair is that good that I have to come back. She'd be gone for how many years? Yeah, now she makes a lot more regular appearances, but that's all that's going through my head. This is a similar situation. I'm going to be as good as everyone thinks I am, and now I feel like I'm even that much better because 2024 did kick my ass and it did give me the clarity and it did light the spark. Like, no, my career is on my time and I'm coming for everything. I've done my homework. WrestleMania is the easy part for me. WrestleMania is my domain. So, I think partially here, we got to remember that Tiffany Stratton is still so young that, like, she shouldn't, if you're talking about these promos, she shouldn't be viewed as bigger than Charlotte Flair, right? Like, that's not what this should be. The whole point of her potentially winning at WrestleMania could be the showcasing of that. And moments like this, nobody's going to remember after the match. A bad promo or a bad little segment or something, people will never remember that again after the conclusion of this story. I don't think people are going to care about it all that much, but I think Charlotte Flair, the way she's telling her story is so important and she's doing it so well. And that's only going to benefit Tiffany in the long run. You know, the bottom line is, as much as it's same thing with like John Cena, right? When John Cena was on top for so long, and he's brought this up in his promos, right? When he was on top for so long, the fans got sick of him, right? You would just hear him and how they were chanting, but they weren't really sick of John Cena. They just, everybody likes to do it. You just are like, hey, we'd like someone else. We've seen this guy in the winning the championship and on top for so long, and you almost love to hate him. But everybody still loved John Cena, and you see that when he came back, right? Everybody still loved John Cena. So from that standpoint, it's similar with Charlotte Flair, where she's such a big star that she has to play this character. People love her, people hate her. That's fine, but she can't act like, well, I can't, bury Tiffany in this segment. I gotta, almost use kid gloves. That's not going to do anything good for Tiffany. What they did on that promo, I thought was fine, and I think this is a really good test for Tiffany Stratton to see, can you be the number one superstar in the women's division? Are you able to be that? And to beat that, you're going to have to go against the best, right? You're going to have to go against Charlotte Flair. And I think this would be a good test to see the audience's reaction. And so far, I would say everything is so good, and we're going to continue to see her build and her character grow, but you got to be able to handle all of this. So I don't love kind of like accusations of, oh, this person buried him during that segment. Tiffany's going to have to overcome all of that. And honestly, I didn't think it was that bad for her to begin with. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.